Whenever you're ready.
I am a freedom seeker, and because of it, I chose entrepreneurship as my way of life. For me, it became about being more present as a single parent rather than working 70-some hours a week and not being there for my children. But I discovered along my own entrepreneurship journey that it can be about so much more than starting a business or freedom of choice. For so many members of our society, marginalized because they can't get access to work, it can be the life-saving gift that we can give someone when they have lost all hope of ever being able to become self-sufficient. Like my friend who lives in pain most days of her life. For her, it became impossible to gain or keep a job because she has her good days and her bad days. And so for her, entrepreneurship became the option that saved her life because she could take the time to work around her pain, to work around her disability. But we take for granted that entrepreneurship and getting a job and supporting ourselves are just about making some money, paying some bills, and maybe being able to have some fun along the way. It is such an important factor in our life that the Universal Declaration of Human Rights includes in it the right to work and to protection from unemployment. But what happens when someone has circumstances that limit that ability? Like a young man that I interviewed some years ago. He was applying for a job for which he was fully qualified. He passed all the tests, drug tests, everything. But he shared with me during the interview that he had gotten himself into some trouble, had been arrested, and was now on probation. This young man was 20 years old. And he said to me, "Ms. Rivera, I desperately need this job. Please give me a chance." So at the end of the interview, I went to our human resources director and I pleaded for this young man's case. But like so many other HR directors before her, she said no. I don't know what happened to that young man, but I can only hope that someone along his journey helped him to understand that entrepreneurship and self-employment was a viable option for him. We need to look at entrepreneurship and self-employment as part of the conversation for workforce development. We need to speak to persons with disabilities and say, you know, how about self-employment? And perhaps they will look at you like you're crazy. A job? A self-employment? How do I do that? I don't even have any money now. But if we don't, we are condemning people to poverty or to living dependent on government for the rest of their lives with limited income possibilities. The issue has been that we look at entrepreneurship as having to write a fancy business plan and go to a financial institution to borrow. That has been sort of the traditional way of thinking. In today's world, we can start a business with little to no money. How do I know that for certain? I have worked with the homeless. I have taught at domestic violence shelters. I have worked in the men's and women's prisons, and I have worked with disadvantaged and troubled teens and incarcerated youth. And every time that I posed entrepreneurship as a possibility, the change in them was magical, and I didn't have to wait for down the road. I could see it instantly. Once they got over the fact that they didn't believe in it, and they realized that I believed that they could do it, and they believed it, it completely changed their demeanor. Why? Because now they had hope. They no longer felt like their life could be over. You see, when people cannot gain access to work, ex-offenders sometimes as much as 5 to 7 years, things like suicide, depression, violence, domestic violence, because people will argue over money. All these are negative consequences to an individual and to our communities because they can't work, they can't be self-sufficient, and each of us wants to feel valued. So I propose that we really start looking at entrepreneurship as something that isn't just for some. And if you say to me that entrepreneurship is not for everyone, I wouldn't argue. It's not for everyone, but it is for anyone that believes it's possible for them, that is willing to put in the work to learn the trade and to get advice so that they can navigate the ups and downs. For them, entrepreneurship is possible. And so the next time that someone is presenting to you this problem, or perhaps you're the workforce development person, or maybe you're the probation officer, and someone says, I just can't get a job, I'm trying. Perhaps you're the person that says to them, have you thought of self-employment? And then have that conversation. Be encouraging. Suggest that it really can be possible, and let's explore your skills. Let's see if there's something there. Because starting a business with little to no money, how many senior citizens don't have anyone to change a light bulb in their home or to cut the grass? Teenagers don't come out and do shoveling, right? No one shovels your yard anymore. I can be 6 feet deep and nobody wants to shovel snow at my property. There's always an opportunity. Technology has opened up online, and people will say, well, if they don't have any money, where's the computer? They can use the libraries for free until they build up a little bit of money and buy things for themselves. We're not talking about the people that need to write a business plan and borrow. We're talking about self-employment for those that desperately need a life-saving gift, and we're the one giving it to them because now they have hope and they carry that in their back pocket and it changes their lives. And I also leave you with this. The next time that life sends something your way, a difficult situation, impossible to solve under a traditional working world, what might entrepreneurship do for you? Thank you.